I'm David Goforth with Cooperative Extension Successful Gardener. Today I'm out here with Mandy Smith-Thompson. Mandy, tell us your job.
Well, I am Mandy Smith-Thompson. I am the environmental educator for the City of Concord.
And that's why we're in one of the neighborhoods here in the City of Concord today talking about compost. What is compost?
Broken down plant material.
That's good enough. Yeah, it's things that were recently alive that have decomposed to a product that we can use for fertilizer. And that's one of the main reasons homeowners ought to be doing this, is because this is very good fertilizer material for anything you would use around the home.
And you know, composting, another really good reason that for me that I think homeowners should be composting is because it diverts a lot of the material that we would be throwing away, organic material from our kitchen that would end up in the landfill. It can actually become something that's beneficial for your garden. And again, it keeps things like grass clippings and leaves from becoming a stormwater pollution issue if we're turning it into valuable compost.
Exactly. So a lot of reasons both for the individual and for the city to be doing this compost here. I like the smell of compost. Can you smell it? It should smell good.
Oh my gosh, it doesn't stink at all.
No, it's actually there's a fungus in here, a Actinomycetes, that causes that smell, good smell, if you do it right. So really that's what I want to tell you about, how to do it right. The first thing we want to do is we need to get some material to decompose. And what we want is organic matter, recently organic matter. We don't want to put grease in there. We don't want to put meat in there. We don't want to put cat waste or dog waste in there. So beyond that, most of the things we can, like things out of our garden, like weeds and stuff like that, we can decompose very successfully, right? You got all that?
I think so.
Well, I got a pop quiz.
Oh gosh.
I'll hand you one and you can put it into a pile of yes, no, or maybe.
All right. All right.
Let's see. Let's start with that. Leaves.
Leaves. I'm going to say leaves are a yes. This is going to be my yes pile.
All right. What about that?
Oh, heck yeah. Watermelon rind.
Kitchen waste. Okay. What about that?
Paper towels. I'm going to say yes.
Okay. Yes or maybe. You said a little definite on that.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about paper towels. Yeah, that's going to be my maybe pile.
What about that one?
Oh, plastic. Definitely not. Definitely not.
No, not plastic. It was alive once upon a time. That's a long time ago, not
very
recently.
Very long time ago. Grass clippings. Absolutely.
All right.
What is this? Ooh, animal waste. I'm going to say absolutely not.
Yeah, that's absolutely not. Weeds?
Weeds from the garden? I say yes. Banana peel? Yes.
Cardboard?
Cardboard. I'm going to say no to this. Looks like it's
wood chip.
Wood chips. I'm going to say probably not, unless if this was broken down a little bit further, I might say yes.
What about a maybe then?
I'm going to say maybe.
All right. Newspaper?
Newspaper, yes.
Magnolia cones?
Magnolia cones. I'm going to say yes to that. What is this? This is a rock. I'm going to say no to a rock. More grass clippings? Definitely. This is a pork chop bone. I know what this is. I'm going to say no.
Pork chop. You identified that exactly, didn't you? All right.
A peach pit. I say yes. And eggshells. I'm going to say maybe to eggshells. And last but not least, I'm not sure what this is. Is this dog food?
No, rabbit poo.
Rabbit poop. I'm going to say yes. No, you said animal waste, no.
I said dog and cat waste, no.
Oh, well, that's not a dog and a cat, so I'm going to say yes to that.
The rabbit actually does make a very good high nitrogen material for compost. The peach pit is not a problem. Let me show you one in here I've just found. This peach pit is from 3 or 4 years ago when I started this compost, and so they don't decompose. You know, so I just had a peach pit like this. I probably wouldn't put it in there, but if I had a peach that was rotten, you throw it in there, the peach decomposes around it, and you got the peach kernel. So that's not a real problem.
It's not going to hurt the compost, but it's not going to decompose as quickly as everything else.
Yeah, I don't know when they decompose really, because like I say, that's 3 or 4 years old there already. The other thing, cardboard maybe. I might put it in a maybe pile. It's going to take a long time, so probably not in a suburban setting, but in a rural setting, I've seen people actually decompose cardboard, but
and maybe not the kind of cardboard that's coated with like a plastic coating. Yeah, that might take longer to break down.
Too. So, right, and so all right, and again, in my situation in a rural area where people don't bother me about my compost pile, I do decompose paper towels. So I think we did pretty good right there. So in addition to the material that we need, get the right material, we also need some moisture, which we get that from rainfall. We can, if we build a compost pile when it's dry, we got a lot of dry leaves, we can wet them down, but really just let it rain. Eventually it will get it wet then. So moisture and oxygen is pretty easy. You know, we get oxygen all around us here. So here, I'm gonna get this up here just to sort of
clear some space off for you.
Yeah, let's toss these things here that we don't need. Now, the other thing I didn't mention about what we need is microorganisms, but they're present on that material anyway. All that material's got microorganisms on it, and so you don't have to buy anything. They sell a lot of stuff out there. And
you're talking about the workers, the bacteria that actually
break the
fungi and
bacteria
down.
And all the stuff growing in there. They'll sell compost starters, and I'm saying they're a waste of money. Okay, if you'll hand me the leaves there. Now, I've got a table here, which I wouldn't build it on a table, and I've got some cardboard to protect the table. I wouldn't do that, and I just put it on the ground.
Because really, when you think about it, if you were to go out into a wooded area and pull back some of the leaves, you might find natural compost.
So it's
happening all the time.
Yeah, and that's one thing you get a lot of these instructions, and it gets real complicated, but I want to try to make it simple. You take this stuff you've been throwing away, you pile it up, let it rot. Got it? Pile it up, let it rot.
Let it rot.
Pile it, let it rot. I think it's sort of like a rap song. You know, pile it up, let it rot. Pile it up, let it rot.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes.
You think you could do it country better? I'll do that guitar. Sing it country one time.
Let it rot. I don't know.
Pile it up, let it rot. All right. One of the things I didn't mention here is we take some of the material, we call it a brown material, and green. You hear people talking about brown and green. What that is, and this, like the leaves would be brown and the grass clippings would be green. And so what we do is we mix the two. Like this has got about leaves have probably got about a 50 to 1 carbon to nitrogen, which is less than ideal. Grass clippings have got about a 15 to 1, which is a little bit more than you need. But you mix these together,
and you've got everything you need.
You've got it at pretty good. And mixing it's better than layering it, you know, like a tossed salad here. All right. But now kitchen scraps are definitely a green, even though it's yellow.
Oh, right. I was going to say, green. This is still green, even though it's yellow.
And we put those, we wouldn't put a whole lot of those in here. Let's put the banana peels in here until we had more material. You know, you don't want to make a pile of mostly kitchen waste. You want mostly leaves and grass, and then put a little bit of kitchen waste in here. I like to bury my kitchen waste, make it look a little bit better. There we go.
So I'm assuming this is also green.
Those are weeds. Yeah, the weeds would be a little bit more nitrogen than carbon, and they would break down real good, particularly if you mix them with a few dried leaves here. And that's dried grass, which just because it's dried and turned brown is still a green material.
Okay.
You know, we could call that good nitrogen material. This is a good compost pile right here, and we would let it decompose. You should be in pretty good shape like this. Now, occasionally we'll have different insects that will get in there, and for the most part, I don't worry about the insects. The exception would be if it got real wet. If it got too wet, it might get some of the filth flies in there. Now, occasionally we'll get black soldier larvae. That's not a problem. Just turn the pile. That works good. But if you start getting other types of flies in there, your pile's too wet. And if you get a smell to it, that's the other problem you can run into.
Yeah.
You get a smell, you just turn it. It's not getting enough oxygen. You turn it and get more oxygen to it.
So really what you're saying is if we do it right, it shouldn't stink and it shouldn't attract pest insects or rodents.
That's the standard, yeah, that's the way it ought to work. Now, the next question is, how do I tell when it's finished decomposing? And here's the standard I normally use is I'll look at this material and I'll say, can I tell what that used to be? Here, when you really can't tell, I can't tell whether that was a banana peel, that was a leaf, or that was a, when you can't tell like that, that's one good clue that this is a finished product. The other indication is if you have a pile of it that's not done, it'll heat up. So if it heats up, it still needs to go a little bit longer before it's done. Now, as far as using this material, you use it like you would regular fertilizer. And a lot of times I'll use it on vegetable gardens. In fact, that's normally where I use it. The simplest way to use this is to spread it out before you incorporate, like if you're going to till your garden to plant some new vegetables or turn it over with a shovel or something like that, you can put some of this in there. You get a lot of the literature, people talk about it putting it 1 inch deep and 2 inches deep, and that works, but that's a little bit more than you need. If you just put it about 1/4 inch deep, like that, right there, for that area, you know, or if you want to target along, like if you got a row here, you can actually target it within the row and that will that level right there will give you a lot of growth.
So let me ask you this. If, let's say I make some compost and I'm getting ready to plant my flower bed or my garden and I don't have enough to make it a 1/4 inch deep across the entire bed, what should I do? Should I still use it? Should I supplement?
A good horticulture process is to do the best you can. You know, that's a good horticulture principle.
So it'll still help even if I don't have enough to do a 1/4 inch. It's still good for the soil.
You're right. Well, Mandy, that about wraps it up. Anything else you want to know?
No, I think you've really done a great job at covering it, and we want to thank you for coming out and sharing your information with us today.
Well, you're certainly welcome. And if anybody else has any information you need on composting, feel free to contact me. I'm David Goforth with Cooperative Extension. Until next time, plan and plant for a better world.
And I'm Mandy Smith-Thompson with the City of Concord. Happy composting.